developments, making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5, here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good day. This is World News in 5 here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. California Governor Gavin Newsom and Attorney General Rob Bonta are set to sue the Trump administration after the deployment of hundreds of National Guard troops to Los Angeles. The BBC reported that United States President Donald Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth are named in the suit, accusing the said officials of usurping state authority and resources, infringing on California state's rights, and violating a federal law that requires the governor's consent to federalize the National Guard. Governor Newsom said in a press release that President Trump is creating fear and terror by failing to adhere to the U.S. Constitution and overstepping his authority. He added that the deployment is a manufactured crisis to allow Trump to take over a state militia, damaging the very foundation of the U.S. Republic. In other news overseas, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has announced his country will significantly boost its defense spending to hit a NATO target of 2% of GDP years earlier than planned. The BBC reported that Prime Minister Carney said in a speech at the University of Toronto that the action was required to ward off the multiplying threats from hostile governments, terrorist entities, and cyber criminals. He also conceded his country was too reliant on the United States for defense. The Canadian leader then added that Washington was reducing its relative contribution to Canada's collective security. And finally, the family of an Israeli soldier held hostage by Hamas has released new footage of the moment he was pulled from his tank and captured by Palestinian militants during the October 7 attacks. The CNN reported the video shows Israeli soldier Matan Angrest surrounded by a dozen men atop the turret of an Israeli tank. It is unclear whether Angrest is conscious in the video as his body is limp and tumbles forward as he is tossed off the side of the tank. In an interview, the aforementioned soldier's mother said she decided to release the video as she fears that her son has been left behind and wants the public to know that he is in a critical situation. And that concludes today's edition of World News in 5. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this has been Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments, making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5, here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.